We are what we watch. So if you watch this, you're Mickeleh. This is a tag video on media identity, started by this guy, Anthony D'Angelo. I think he's very smart, and I think you probably should be watching him. 1. Through which media do you consume and produce content? Content? I'm going to overlook that, Anthony, because I like you, but I'm not happy with that word. That's a whole other rant. Blows me away to think about how many forms of media have just gone obsolete in my lifetime. Analog TV, 78 RPM records, film strips, VHS, CD-ROM, newspapers, practically. So let's have a little humility about how long this YouTube thing will last. Okay, consuming all. Well, most. Many. A few. Books. Now mainly Kindle. Still have lots of dead trees in the house that I keep promising I'll get around to reading. Newspapers are pretty much gone except online versions. I don't miss them. What I miss is dealing with them only once a day instead of checking them obsessively every 10 minutes. Did they find the airplane yet? What I like is that news online throws itself away. What I don't like is there's never a newspaper around when I need to start a barbecue. Magazines mostly gone, still take the New Yorker. TV lingers, but mainly for Netflix binge watching. I still go out to movies, plays, live concerts, some museums. Games, not so much. More and more it's the web. And now apps. Producing? Most of my career was spent writing and producing media of one sort or another, one sort being marketing, the other advertising. Lately it's pretty much down to Twitter and YouTube, little Instagram and Vine, and some tagging, buildings. But let's not speak of that. How'd you learn to use these media? At home, at school, or on your own? All of the above. Started at home. Dad was an avid photographer and home movie maker. He gave me the bug for photography and filmmaking. I did have a small amount of formal training over the years, very small but very helpful, just enough so I could put together some samples and a reel and bluff my way into getting work in media. Once I started, I began learning from my colleagues. In the 80s and 90s, I spent about 10 years of my career at Apple, mainly doing video production the old-fashioned way, post-production on equipment that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and was rented out by post houses, rented out by the hour. But while I was at Apple, I got to see the beginnings of what eventually would become the digital video technologies we use today. It was clear, even in the early 90s, that the productions I was doing on multi-$100,000 dedicated workstations would be migrating to equipment that cost 1/10 as much, and then 1/10 as much as that, praise Moore's Law. I never guessed it would all shrink down by another 1/10 to fit in my pocket. With current media, I'm largely self-taught. In fact, one of the reasons I make YouTube videos is to teach myself how to do things I used to have to hire people to do for me. I'm sure I'd benefit from more formal training, and I've often thought of taking a break and going back to film school, but I never did. How important are those media to your life? How have they changed you? Well, for better or worse, they are my life. Victor Lindlar, a nutritionist, popularized the phrase, "You are what you eat." In Los Angeles, it's "you are what you drive," but more and more it turns out that you are what you watch and listen to and read and play. Sometimes I think we're just walking billboards for media franchises. Fandoms have gotten so intense. I know Hollywood started selling Charlie Chaplin dolls over a century ago, and then Mickey Mouse watches, and then Shirley Temple dolls, but now anyone with a media franchise seems to act like their money is only temporarily resting in our pockets. We're their bank. Sooner or later, they're going to get us to exchange it for some merch. And not just blockbusters like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Toy Story, Doctor Who, but also what Ben Cook has labeled the Mad Boss Internet Famous. Everybody's selling merch now. Did you know that John Green actually sells branded tissues so teenagers can cry at his weepy teenage cancer movie On Brand? Don't forget to buy Awesome. To be fair, royalties are shared with the worthy designers who helped him put it all together. But why are we so eager to clothe ourselves in other people's media identities? Who are you wearing? Hey, Joss Whedon. Many people I know through YouTube are young and using YouTube as a path into a career, learning, showcasing, building a following. Thing is, I've already had a career, a few actually, and since retiring, I don't have to tell brand stories anymore. I can tell my own. And that puts me with the YouTubers for whom it's not a career path, but rather a form of self-expression. My approach to media is morphing from "you are what you watch" to "you are what you make." I probably could build a bigger channel if I followed YouTube's prescriptions and focused on a theme, uploaded more regularly. But why? I'm retired. If I wanted to focus, I'd still be working. How do you portray yourself through these media, socially, politically, artistically, otherwise? Well, I'm sure you know this is an edited version of me. It's the truth, but it's not the whole truth. This me talks a little faster, more coherently, probably talking closer to the way I used to talk as a disc jockey than how I talk if you buy me a drink. This me doesn't get sad or angry, doesn't live in clutter, doesn't have creaky old bones, doesn't forget to floss. I like this me. What responsibilities do you have as a consumer and producer of media? Okay, as a consumer, I have 2 rules. First, never turn off the bullshit detector. Remember that nobody who talks to you through the media has your goals in mind. They have their own goals. Just be aware of that. I mean, don't reject everything out of hand, but be aware. Wash the fruit before you eat it. And then the other one, more personally, the way media has changed in the past decade is frankly just not good for my health. I'm drowning in a sea of endless, pointless, tiny, distracting amusements. Will someone please remind me what is the lasting value of taking yet another BuzzFeed quiz? How did I become so eager to slice my poor brain and attention into thousands of disconnected crumbs? Now this, now that. Oh, this looks important for a nanosecond. Did they find the plane yet? Wonder how many videos I could make if I weren't so easily seduced by incoming. You can either see the show or be the show. I keep forgetting that. If I weren't consuming media all the time, I could have had this video done a week ago. I guess it boils down to the other overall responsibility of the media consumer. Turn it off once in a while. It's okay to miss something. Now, as for a producer, I have 4. 3 positives, 1 negative. The positives, be interesting, be entertaining, be truthful. The negative, don't hurt people. Tags. I would love to hear from Kevin Geesey, Foreign Thoughts, Ophelia Dagger, Ray Roberts, and especially from my neighbors in the Seattle YouTube Creators Group. It's a good way we can get to know each other. Until next time, I'm the edited, better behaved, just shaved, superficial, and glib version of Michael Markman, known online as Mickeleh. DVD Extras. My Rant on Content by Mickeleh. Short version. I'm doing this unshaven, so it feels just that little bit more ranty. I don't like the word content because it disrespects the creative process. I don't know anyone who makes content. I know people who make films, sketches, cartoons, tutorials, vlogs, reviews. I know people who write songs, poems, stories, jokes, novels, essays, plays. I know people who make photographs, illustrations, comics, GIFs. I know people who make GIFs. I know people who make sweaters, sushi, soup. My problem is the word content munges all of that into a single undifferentiated slurry. Just give me something, anything to fill the pipeline. Now, I get that marketers and analysts need some kind of collective noun to describe the vast quantity of stuff out there, and I can't stop them from using content, but I don't have to use it, and I don't have to endorse it, and I can wince and frown whenever I hear you use it, unless you're Wodo, in which case I'll giggle. For a better and longer rant about content, see Neafcy. He's got even more reasons to avoid this insulting, dismissive word. Go watch Anthony. That's my end screen today. Just go watch Anthony. Bye now.